Well, good morning, guys, from Sewell Motor Coach here in Harrisburg, Kentucky. And I thought it might be a little bit of a change up to do an inspection on a travel trailer roof. That's on this 2026 Delta Ultralight from Alliance. And I don't get to see brand new travel trailers very often. Well, for the last 10 years or so, I've been very unimpressed with what the manufacturers are putting out. I was up on the roof here and I honestly was pretty impressed. As I don't get to the RV shows very often, but this is a ML226 Delta Ultralight. Looks like its gross vehicle weight rating is just under 7,500 pounds, and its unloaded vehicle weight rating is just below 5,800 pounds. And when I rounded the corner right here, I can't deny I was a little bit disappointed that it had a ladder on it, but I was actually really quite surprised because it's a very substantial, non-standard, rickety aluminum ladder that you'd normally see on an RV. You know, like these aluminum ones that go over the top. Over the last few years, I've actually been trying to encourage the RV industry to get away from putting ladders on the backs of RVs, but I do know that some owners do like to have those ladders. And while the industry may not be listening to me, I was pretty impressed that it is a very wide, substantial, looks like powder coated and welded steel, and they're calling it the climb and dry oversized ladder. So I guess you can hang up gear on here to dry off, but I do like that they didn't go over the top with it, since it's over the top where usually all the water leaks are caused and the roof damage is caused. Now, it's still not perfect. I'll show you when you get on the top, but it does not go all the way to the top of the roof. But they did add a handle right here so you can at least safely transfer from the ladder to the roof, which is why I say it's not perfect. I think it's a decent compromise between that horrible aluminum ladder and a expanding telescoping ladder. Usually you have to get with a outdoors RV or an Arctic Fox in order to get a non-standard, pretty resilient ladder like this. Now, one thing I didn't notice or didn't know before, I don't know if you can hear that. There's a texture to this membrane on the roof here, and they're calling it a PVC roof. So it's not a slick roof, and it does have a very strong and it does have a texture to it, so it is going to be easier to walk on and less slippery. And you should also see that this is a very recent build from the manufacturer, as the self-leveling sealant is still pretty soft. It looks like it probably got put on right before it rained, because that's why that has that texture on it. But I thought it might be fun to check out this ultralight travel trailer roof, because really they've done a pretty good job up here. I didn't find anything wrong. Before we start to nitpick it completely, I do want to point out they called this an ultralight. Its weight ratings are actually pretty reasonable, but you can also see the texture from the membrane. So it is a OSB decking that they used, and it's a pretty thick decking, because you can almost see through the skylight right here. The top layer, it does look to be about ½ inch thick, though I'm sure it's some strange metric measurement that I'm not familiar with and you can't pick up at the big box store. And all things being equal, if I had installed this roof, I'd be very proud of it too. Now, some people may not appreciate being able to see the OSB strands coming through on the membrane, but I think it's a great thing, because that means they had great adhesion from the membrane to the deck itself, and that also means it's not a vacuum bonded roof like they've been trying to get away with for the last few years. And I'm not seeing a lot of bubbling on this membrane. Like a little bit of bubbling right here, maybe a little bit right there, but I think I can feel an imperfection underneath there. And then when we go to each one of the seams, we can see that they did put fiber tape that connects each one of those seams on the deck itself. In the years past, I can't tell you how many roofs I've seen where the seam or the membrane is quite loose, especially on the edges right here, and especially on the seams right here. It's all bubbling. I've been warning about bubbling membrane roofs for a long time. So I'm very encouraged to see that Alliance has managed to get back to the original standards of RV roof membranes not being bubbled. It's also great to be able to take advantage of a raking light from the sun. Even right here around the AC unit, we're not looking too bad. We'll go ahead and lean up against it and make sure the AC is not loose to the roof. It looks like they have a Furrion on this one. I do like how on the solar panel right here, it looks like we have a Go Power of 200 watts. They put the feet right at the seam where there's going to be structure and support. So that was a pretty brilliant design too. and it's spaced away from the AC enough so that it's not going to cast a lot of shade on it. All the sealant is put on there actually with a lot of care. I'm gonna step there, that might be me. And in years past, I did never use these because I thought that they were one more thing that can go wrong. And I have seen these broken, but I do like having the ability to add more panels kind of effortlessly with the quick connects right here. Years past, I've actually put the quick connects in the roof, which is a bad idea. You should be able to update your solar if you want to really easily. So I do like that feature too. It looks like Winegard has pared down their Air 360 quite a bit. This is a tiny little antenna now. Looks like it's sealed up really well. And even the molding where it meets the sidewall right here, the cap seal that they're using isn't quite the same non-sagging Dicor acrylic sealant we would have used before. It feels more like a polyurethane type of a sealant, more like a ProFlex or a Pro Seal. Kind of see it right here too, so it has a lot more body to it. It also feels pretty new too. Now we made it up here to the front cap. Obviously I don't want to walk on this fairly fresh sealant because I'll just put my footprint in it again, but I do want to point out this is metal right here. There's a seam right there, so it is almost like a mesa metal, which means this is not going to delaminate, which has been a problem in the industry too, where they use chipboard and Phylon, and then the front caps and the rear caps just fall apart really fast. So I do like seeing the metal on this too. It's a really nice job they did on the seam. Even right here, the transition, even though it might look a little bit, I don't know, imprecise, this is pretty much how I would have done it too. I like that they didn't bring this over the top right here and create a place where water was going to puddle. So that's a very thoughtful way they did that. Same with the inserts right here. A lot of times that insert comes up to here with molding, and so water gets into the insert and then just starts rotting out the wall just because this decorative insert holds water in it so well. But it shouldn't be a problem on this setup either. And yet they did seal that right there. Again, that's a nice clear sealant that they used. Took a lot of care with that. Looks like we have a power awning right here, which is really becoming quite standard in the industry. And if we come all the way down over to here, well, they did seam the gutter right there. They did put a nice blob of sealant right there, but it's not so tall or so proud that water's not going to be able to get out. So again, I don't even know if I would have done that. So hats off to Alliance. We come back over here. We already saw the sewer vents. I don't know why they're still using these sewer vents. These are the ones that are pretty prone to failure. I think they have stamped aluminum ones now that I would probably recommend from here on out. And I know it's an ultralight, but I think we can do better than these 14 by 14 vents at this point. The skylight is a nice skylight. They did a decent job installing that. I'm not seeing any issues with that. I'm sure that this will start to yellow over time. You can get the UV protector. I think there's a 303 to help reduce that, but you're never going to eliminate clear acrylic from yellowing. Even looks like maybe the factory, their own QC, they touched up right here on some missing sealant. And even though this is probably the worst part of the sealant job, I don't really see a problem with that sealant job. If we look over the back over here, I do like that they use the cap molding right here. That's not screwed down from above. It's going to be screwed down from the side. And again, now if I have any real complaints, it's that I really wish we'd get away from this plastic insert. It's usually a pretty big cause of problems for a lot of RV owners. It does shrink over time, it falls off, and it does hold water. I know I praised the way they did it on the front cap, but I think we can get away from doing this vinyl insert anyways. I think Jayco doesn't even have vinyl insert molding on their roofs anymore. You just have exposed screws, which is probably the way to go. Now my only other critique is going to be these attic vents. I don't really feel like they serve a purpose. It's just another hole in the roof. I don't know how you're getting any real great ventilation coming from the attic right here, especially given my experience with these roofs. But overall, I think Alliance did a great job on the build of this roof. Looks like to me they had great adherence on the membrane to the deck. And for an ultralight, this is a very strong and solid roof. Now, as an RV owner and a service technician, I'm a little bit curious of why they came up with this method for transitioning from the roof to the ladder. As someone that does a lot of stupid things on ladders, I'm still even a little bit uncomfortable with this. But it is still encouraging to see that the industry is trying to change things up and not just go with the status quo anymore. Now, once I'm done with the inspection, we will go ahead and do a quick walkthrough on the inside of it. But I thought it was very important when we're talking about the ladder that they listen to the problems with customers. The first thing I'm going to notice after that is that in the last decade or so, in order to make the insides a lot more residential and to make these things ultralights, they've really been skimping on the actual steel framing underneath. So I am happy to see that they went with a BAL or a ball frame. And some of the newest failure points on the frames, it looks like they've been listening, is you can see on the hangers, instead of just being welded on, just on the edge of the frame down here where they've been actually flexing quite a bit because the metal's gotten so thin, they've added gusset supports. And I'm not saying these are huck bolted in, but they do look like riveted in on the hangers themselves and into the frame itself. So that's a pretty nice looking upgrade that looks like Alliance decided to go with. I'm sure the metal is still pretty thin, but they have substantially reinforced all the important parts, load bearing and flex sides of the frame. Instead of just being welded on right there, it looks like it's a pretty well engineered and designed outrigger support that, I don't know, it's probably the same rivet bolts that they're having on that hardware right there. So I'm going to say that's a pretty good job. If we look right here on the equalizer, that's actually a pretty beefy equalizer. And we have what they're calling the HD axle mount. So again, you can see it's all been integrated into the frame. It's right there. It's not just welded on underneath. Another manufacturer might have just had an I-beam construction with a couple little welded on gussets at some of these points right here. But I have seen a lot of the framing inside here cracking. And it looks like the BAL frame has really taken a lot of the problems in the past and fixed them. I don't think I ever asked for perfection from any of the manufacturers. I just always expect them to find problems and do better as they learn, just like I try to do. And I skipped right past it. They installed Goodyear tires, not some no-name brand that you have to change out as soon as you buy it. So again, it's good to see that Alliance is listening to their customer base and getting nice tires on there. Now, another common thing that you want to look for on all these modern towables straight from the factories, make sure they got all the cap seals for all the exterior seams done really well. And it looks like Alliance really took a lot of care to seam everything that needs to be seamed. Even on windows, they put a cap seam like I would about to this point right there. And that allows any water that does get past it to come out on the frame down below. You wouldn't want to come all the way around to the bottom here. We could still probably do a little bit of improvement on these fender skirts, but even still, I guess it is secured. I also like that they didn't go with the copycat motif of mimicking another large luxury towable brand that a lot of the other towable brands are trying to do. They went with their own motif, and it's not a lot of swishes, not a lot of decor, nice and simple. Now, it's not all unicorns and rainbows here. I still wish the industry would get away from putting the city water connection right next to the tank flush connection, or happens a lot of times they have a freshwater tank fill right next to there, so you accidentally hook up to those when you want to hook up to city water, blow out your black tank or blow out your freshwater tank. But it also looks like the industry hasn't changed much. They still don't ship it with the battery, so I do have to get this thing over to the shop so I can put a battery in it. If we're going to do that, we might as well hook up the lights and test all that out too. So those front lights are on, side lights are on. It looks like the side markers, the lower turn signals, they're all LED, easy to see, and the top clearance lights are all good too. All right, guys, I'll meet you at the shop. I'm kind of impressed so far with the Lions. I'm interested to see what the inside looks like. I think it's pretty safe to say this Ram 2500 did not fill this ultralight trailer behind it. Let me see if I can't get the shop and get a battery installed real fast. Thank you, Joe.
Yes, sir.
So we can continue the inspection. and walk through. Now, as silly as it sounds, I like that they upgraded the keys to be adult-sized keys, and they're all keyed the same. So the inch-door handle key is the same as a deadbolt key. I just locked it apparently. All right, which should mean it's the same for the compartment door key, so you only need one key now. I don't know why it took the industry that long to do this. It looks like they have a friction door hinge. And, all right, they didn't put the shade there, but it is ready. I do like the fold downstairs. I know some people don't like them, but I think they're pretty useful and a lot more substantial going inside of a trailer or an RV. That's all right. And let's see, my first impression is it looks like a pretty decent floor plan, almost set up like a studio apartment. Oh, don't have any power. Don't think I knocked anything off getting the propane tanks off to go and filled up, and there's no disconnect here. I like those magnetic holdbacks. Oh, hey, look at that, battery disconnect. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, we have a bit to operate the stabilizing jacks. Freshwater fill from city water, so that's why there wasn't a spigot over a connection right here. And let's see, outside sprayer. There's the sprayer over there. And let's see, so you can operate the slide out from here. Oh, that's cool. And looks like you can turn the water pump on and off. And again, it's kind of cool that they put the covers over the switches so that when you're storing things in here, it's not going to accidentally hit the switches. I mean, you'll still hit the handle there and that switch. But progress is progress. What's behind here? Oh, open it up. Hey, look at that. We got Victron components in here. That's the MPP charge controller from Victron, and it looks like you have a disconnect for the solar. And they even have a pre-wire for the inverter, so if you want to add an inverter, so they already got that going. Let's see. I know all the inspectors find loose connections on the batteries there, but I don't see anything wrong. Even with the 30 amp short cord right here, it's still the marine style, but it has a 90-degree head on it, which means there's not a lot of strain of the weight of this cord pulling down on that connection right there, which is a very common problem on the straight acting ones. So far, I'm kind of liking what I'm seeing from Alliance. You guys are gonna accidentally make me speak highly of the factory, and then people will blow me up in the comments telling me, no, there's still problems. Let's see, gotta turn the water pump off. Slide out room out. Don't want to run it out without seeing inside and make sure I wasn't snagging on anything. So it looks like it's electric slide out. Sounds like a rack and pinion. All right, there's that clutching action. And instead of having carpet in this area, they still have that rolled vinyl flooring. I kind of do like how this has worked out pretty well. They don't miss the carpet wearing out. But I'm sure we'll find something on the slide out room that I won't like, for sure, right? Let's start with underneath. All right. I don't know if I've ever seen this style. This must be predate my knowledge. Looks like a wavy rack and pinion. Very similar to the normal size, but look at this, where it's actually going through the frame. It's not just cut out, it's bolted on like the gussets and the outriggers. I don't know if this has a TPMS system right here. Huh, it's interesting. It looks like the floor of the slide out room already has a protector on it. It's not just exposed or painted wood. Let's see, the number one failure point on a slide out room is going to be where the sidewall meets the subfloor or the floor of the slide out room. And a lot of the industry's been going with these really thin ABS skis, but there's some pretty thick, almost feels like a Teflon guide on the side and underneath. I don't know, we'll see how this one lasts. So it's got a nice angled top on it to keep water from getting trapped. It's looking like they're at least changing designs. I guess the next check should be the slide out roof. Okay, so they're doing the same thing they've been doing for a while, which is just going to be a roof repair tape. Same PVC roof. A little bit of bubbling, nothing I'm that concerned about. but it looks like they do come over the top and underneath this molding with that tape that's flashing. And again, this really is flashing tape, so that's kind of its own purpose, is what they're using it for. And let's see. Double wiper seal with a bulb seal. And this is like a foam rubber. It's not just like a plastic rubber. And over here, it looks to be about the exact same. We still have that cap seal on the window. They even put a cap seal on the fascia to keep water from going down into here and backing through. I don't know if the warranty claims inspired them or not, but I like to see them improving their build. Even have a cap seal on that sealant right there. All right, one of the nicer things about a rack and pinion electric slide out room is that you should be able to extend it or retract it manually. So let's see if they did the manufacturer special and forgot to give you the access hole for the crank handle. Nope, look at that, it's right there. So right here, we should be able to grab this tool and engage it with that nut right there, and we should be able to, let's see, move the slide out room in manually. It might take a while, but it can be done, and I think even a child could do this. It's geared pretty low. It means you can also extend it manually too in an emergency. Now, another interesting feature that I just noticed that might appeal to a lot of RVers that didn't know that they wanted it, you can take these steps off really easily just by pulling the pin. So a lot of times you get in a situation where you need this out of the way, and in order to get the steps out of the way, you have to get a screw gun out to remove it. But pull those two pins, the whole step's out of the way. Oh, I like this. There's a little shoe cubby right here. But let's see what else we got inside. I need some lights. Light switch. Oh, look at that. There's a dimmer for all the puck lights. Now, they're not normal puck lights, and they are highly diffuse. They don't hurt your eyes so much. And I think I should probably put the slide out room back out again after cranking it back in. All right. I didn't point out it is a level out floor, and it is a one-piece rolled vinyl floor throughout. It looks to me like all the cabinetry is just going to be engineered lumber, which isn't too surprising on a ultralight, and it looks like maybe the factory missed a few staples on the dinette there. See, over here, I do like that they've eliminated the side balances, and it is just a one piece. And yeah, fairly easy roller shade. Let's see. It works. Again, not having those balances there, it solves a lot of problems. We're calling this hang or stack. All right, so rather than a normal closet rod, it looks like it just has a rod that pivots, and then hanger stack. Oh, all right, so you can hang up just by removing this. So I guess that's kind of ingenious, huh? Do like that. Let's see, so we have USB charging and 120 on both sides. The drawer frames. Okay, so the boxes, it looks like it's at least cabinet grade plywood with magnetic latches. And of course, naturally, that's going to be a laminate countertop material. They say these drawers can handle 90 pounds, which I guess makes sense with the plywood construction. Let's see. Light switches right there. Headboard a little loose. Oh, same thing over here. Hang or stack. All right. So we know that the front underneath right there is where the storage is, and we also know that, like all manufacturers, they put a really crummy mattress on here, so I would probably recommend you change out that mattress before your back decides it needs to be changed. I can tell you that you probably do want a heavier mattress, because this section feels a little bit weak. However, as I look across to the other side, I think there's only a 26-foot trailer, and this is a very livable space for sure. Looks like we have a reclining sofa. Is it power? Oh, look at that. It's got LED lights. Does it have LED lights over here? Okay. And USB-A and maybe USB-C. So these are recliners. Oh, manual recliners with cup holders. So I do like to see that. That's just a pad. Okay, let's see, is this mounted? It does feel like the sofa is mounted to the floor. USB over there. More soft rise roller shades and more puck lights over there. But these are, like I said, these are closer to like 3-inch puck lights. So I do kind of like that. I did already test out the smoke alarm. I didn't even notice that there's drawers underneath the bed here. Right. They are really adding a lot of value compared to what they would have done in years past. So we have a Sansui TV. I guess this whole thing articulates out. Alright, so you can watch from the bed, or you can watch from the sofa. Probably have a difficult time watching from the dinette booth though. But at least the heads of anybody sitting there is not in the way of people sitting here. It's a little high, but I'll allow it. Alright, so the dinette will turn into a bed. Get the cushions out of the way, get the cushions out of the way. No table leg on this one, and that's pretty substantial, right? It looks like we have a laminate countertop as a tabletop. And you can one-handedly turn that into a bed. Alright. Okay, so pretty standard twin-size dinette bed. See how the longevity of the cushions. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 slots or fingers, and those are steel, so that's why it engages really well. And yeah, that's actually pretty stout and robust. It's not like some of those push-down ones that just feel completely unsafe to put a cup of water on them. And there's going to be storage underneath, and look at that. A little toe kick right here. I don't know if you're supposed to put your shoes down there. They say no floor vents, so I guess I didn't even point that out. There's no furnace vents in the floor here, which means you don't have to worry about dog hair, crumbs getting stuck in your furnace ducts. And this is going to be... Oh, I thought this was going to be a closet. This is like a huge slide-out pantry. That's a big pantry for a travel trailer. And again, cabinet grade plywood. Yeah, it's not pressed board. It does have a veneer on it, but it's not pressed wood, which means it's not going to expand. Alright, so that's the electrical center. In front of the sofa right there is a Furrion 12-volt refrigerator. And yeah, residential style, but it does run on 12 volts. Same laminate countertop that you're going to have on the dinette table. Gray stone microwave, pot and pan drawer, and the turntable for the microwave. Let's see if we can't see anything to tattle on back there. It's clean, no construction debris. Wow. I don't know. That's a lot of added value. Most manufacturers just would have put a shelf in right there, made out of a couple pieces of Luan paneling, and called it good. Even has magnetic latches to hold it tight. Wow, it's a lot of light too. Now the new RV stovetops are a lot more impressive than they were when I first started. These actually look like a proper appliance. They light up. See if we can't get rid of some of that shipping air. Alright. Should redesign that knob. There's not a lot of places to grab to turn. There we go. Very nice. Now let's see if you can light the oven with a sparker, or do you need a look at that. You don't need a lighter to light the oven. Huh. Maybe I shouldn't be so impressed by the little things, but years I've had to tell people you have to get a long lighter in order to light your oven. Oh, pilot's lit. Still holding it down. It's still lit. If I let go, hey, it's still lit. Let's turn it on. Very nice. Very nice indeed. You can see it even better with the oven shut. Alright, so I'm going to have to do a LP leak test later. While that's off, I like that. Modern looking stovetop. Yeah. Over here they have the rear galley countertop in the corner. I do like a rear galley on a trailer. I don't know why. think it's just because it's out of the way. Oh, wow. We got a slide back utensil drawer too. Owner's packet right there. And I guess I should have pointed it out. That's a stainless steel sink. It's an oversized single large sink. So, man. It says shut-off valves on all the plumbing fixtures. This is something I usually add to things because why shouldn't there be? Let's see. Oh, there they are. Shut-off valves on all the fixtures. Sure enough. Got some more under cabinet lights right there. And the backsplash is a matching composite material. It's very thin. Looks to be very similar to like a fiberglass or a Phylon material. And my understanding is, well, the inside paneling might be Luan. What makes up the side walls is going to be Asdel. Or some form of composite material so it doesn't get water damage like you do with the wooden Luan. We've seen that a number of times. Sure enough, it does look like it's prepped for a TPMS system, and they are saying you get full-time RV warranty. So if you live in it full-time, you aren't voiding the warranty. It does have a rear bathroom right here. The pocket door. Oh, check this out. I've never seen one with a spring on that little latch. It's honestly really square. No adjustments needed. Kind of a fan of that latch. I didn't know they made one with a spring on it. Alright, so we do have a porcelain toilet. And looks like there is enough room to sit around there. That's going to be the controls for that tankless water heater. Cubby holes for all your towel and toilet paper needs. Another opening down there. Only one cabinet. And even though, again, it's laminate countertop in here, it is a real stainless steel sink. It even says it's extra large. Over here on the medicine cabinet. Hello. And I did complain about this vent. They could have gone with a nicer one than this. These are kind of inexcusable to be still installed in RVs. The last one's going to be a shower. This is a very good sized shower. Much bigger than I would have expected on a trailer of this size. It does have ABS on the shower walls. It is an ultralight. And one of my favorite shower doors because it doesn't take up a lot of space. And unlike the 3-panel glass doors, isn't frustrating. Now, I normally say that I'm 6 foot tall. If the skylight wasn't here, yeah, I'd be hitting my head. The shower head maybe is a little bit low for me, but I guess there's enough slack that I could raise it up to that point in the shower skylight if I wanted to. When I step out, ooh, I didn't have to duck though. I'm almost ready to end the tour here, but we haven't tried the Furrion Chill Cube, I think. Now it's 54 degrees in here, so I don't think I'll be able to run the cool side of it. But we turn the fan on. It's not offensively loud. I mean, that is, but going through the ductwork through the ceiling, I do have pretty good airflow too. So that's a good sign. Guess the last thing we should try is going to be the heat. Make it warm. Oh, that's what that is. This is the air intake for the furnace. Oh, clever. So it's not just like a toe kick. I guess you could put like your sandals or flip-flops out of the way, even though there's a section behind the dinette booth right there. Oh, I didn't even notice at the foot of the bed there is one too. Huh. That is clever. That's crazy clever. That way you don't have to be tripping over shoes. Other manufacturers would be like, well, we're going to put your dog dishes that pop out right here. Yeah, I'm trying to figure out where all the heat comes out of. Not from there. Oh, no, heat does come out from here. Never mind. Toilet. Nice airflow right there, which makes sense since the furnace is right there. Nothing, nothing, nothing. There should be something up front here at the bed. Hey, look at that! They hid it right here in your shoe cubby. Keep your shoes nice and warm. Probably the only feature that a lot of people would complain about is going to be the privacy to the bed area. It's literally just a old school hospital style privacy curtain. But there are two of them. So a little bit of privacy. Otherwise, I'm really encouraged by Alliance as a manufacturer of towable RVs. I only found a few items. The headboard's loose. The paneling behind the cushion right there is loose. And the tongue jack seems to be jammed, so I don't have the tools to fix that. I'm just reaching down to grab my drink, and I just noticed there's a sewer hose carrier already installed. And low point drain valves for the hot and cold have valves on them. And then a really nice dump valve for the fresh water tank. Oops. Gotta turn off the smoke alarm. The furnace has to burn off its shipping oil. It's pretty common. I don't think Alliance had any idea I was going to be doing an inspection on this Delta Ultralight. We're sharing it with you guys, so it's just as how it leaves the factory. I'm kind of excited to maybe one day get to the factory and take a look at these things. Alright, let's see. Water, awning lights. Oh, the awning lights are right here, and they are diffused already. That's one of the few lippert components I'm seeing on this is going to be the awning. And that didn't have a problem either. Of course, these awnings you don't want to leave open in any sort of real wind. Right, but you can't adjust them. Very cool. Alright guys, well that was my experience with the 2026 Delta from Alliance. I can see why Doug with Sewell Motor Coach decided that he wanted to team up with them. They really do seem like they are learning from mistakes in the past and listening to customers. I hope that everybody else is having a good experience with them. It's been a long time since I've been doing inspections on brand new travel trailers straight from the factory, and this has been a very small list. I mean, heck, even though they maybe didn't do the cleanest job of the sealant right here, they did actually add black sealant right here because water does normally get stuck right there and starts to create rust on the exhaust of the furnace. So they really have been thinking about things and making sure they're building a nice coach. So it does seem like Doug did make a pretty good choice when he decided to pick up Alliance. I also thought it might be interesting to take a look at the Delta that he has here really quick, just to see if there's a big difference between an ultralight and a non-ultralight Delta. Alright, so here's the other one. We have a molded fiberglass front cap. Let's see, this has the glass entry door. They look good, I don't know. Guess it's better when you try the right key. Similar rolled vinyl flooring, similar dinette, otherwise this is that's at least real wood. And behind that's going to be a solid surface countertop material. Same sink that you're going to get, same stove, same microwave, same refrigerator. Very similar sofa, actually it's a little bit narrower because this is a shorter slide out. And we have a Furrion. Okay, this is the chill cube. We didn't have a chill cube on the other one. I'm just so used to saying that. Same TV set up there. Much different floor plan. Alright. We have an actual hallway with a door over here to the bathroom, so your bathroom's not right off of the galley. Same ABS shower and skylight. Solid surface countertop with the same sink. And, alright. That's pretty nice too. Ooh, looks like you can get through that closet. From the bedroom here, same spring-loaded latch. Yeah, so that'll get you into the bathroom. And it looks like this is set up probably, yeah, you can do a washer and dryer combo right here. Closet. Oh, look at that tiny little space heater fireplace. Drawers down below. Very similar bed. Probably replace that mattress too. Same headboard, but that one's not loose. All right. Ooh, does have a second AC up here. Okay. So very similar, but a little bit different. Not just in floor plan, but amenities that are inside of it. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing so far. If you guys have any questions about this, I would definitely recommend that you reach out to Doug or his group here at Sewell Motor Coach. SewellMotorCoach.com. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. I got more inspections to do. It's a big day for the owners of this Journey. They just traded that one in and got themselves a Tiffin Red. Really nice couple. They didn't blame me for it, but really nice group of people. Congratulations. I think it's a pretty good, I think it's a decent compromise between the really bad design. Now, speaking of that OSB decking, now some people might not appreciate that you can see the OSB strands coming through the deck right now. Some people may not be all right, at least some things never change, right?